Movie Champ Show, episode number 23. I am the host, Zakary Cheatham. With me tonight, I have
E.J. Flemming.
Yeah, and this is kind of a makeup game, I guess you would call it.
Yes, it is.
We tried to do the show on Saturday, but the internet connection just was not cooperating.
It was not at all.
And I actually had a technician come out today and figure out why our internet has been so crummy lately. They figured it out. It was a thing on their part, thankfully. So it didn't cost me any money.
No, it did not at all.
So anyways, yeah. So now we're gonna go ahead and try to do this makeup episode. We're still gonna have episode 24, I guess, sometime this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess you guys, if you're a fan of this show, you get a treat. There's 2 episodes a week this week.
Mm-hmm.
Not per week, but just this week.
Just this week. A double dose.
Yeah, we do have plans though to do other things sometime in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely want to get a podcast show, not quite movie related, not completely movie related. It's going to cover a spectrum of different topics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Be a little bit more personal and things like that. It'll be really fun for us when we can finally start doing that soon.
Mm-hmm.
We have some, I guess some. We don't have the announcement quite yet for what's going on with the Horror Champs channel. He hasn't had his meeting yet with the people that he wants to have a meeting with, so we're still waiting on that. That's with Zakary on the Horror Champs and Geek Champs. Well, hopefully this weekend have a Geek Champs episode.
Mm-hmm.
Get back to doing that again.
Yes.
We have not done that in a while. It's been
yeah, mainly because the internet has been so
yeah.
trash-tastic that we haven't had a chance to.
Yeah, so actually, hopefully, if you guys are watching this right now, you're noticing that this is the first time I think this is the first time we've ever streamed in 1080p properly, anyway.
Yes.
So yeah, we are running at full capacity right now. Which is cool.
We've only dropped 12 frames so far. As far as to the other night where we were dropping all of them.
Yes.
So this is a marked improvement.
Yes. So yeah, we're really excited now that we are working properly as far as our technical side goes.
Yes.
So anyways, we got on this episode we are going to be talking about we have some Wonder Woman news. We have some news, not in the DCEU, but we have a DC movie, some DC movie news.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a couple trailers we're going to discuss, and we got 3 movie reviews. Yeah, 3 movie reviews.
Yes, 3.
That we're going to be that are going to be on this episode. So we're going to go ahead and get to our first topic. What's up with that? Sorry. Anyways, so the first topic we're going to be talking about is Wonder Woman. We have Kristen Wiig has been cast in the role of the villain Cheetah. That's official now. It came from Patty Jenkins on her Twitter. Mm-hmm. Said, "So excited to confirm the most thrilling news. Yes, it's true. So incredibly lucky to welcome the sensationally talented Kristen Wiig to our Wonder Woman family. Can't wait to finally work with one of my favorites. And so excited by what we have planned. #Cheetah." She also tagged Gal Gadot in that tweet. So, EJ, what do you think about that news?
Don't think she's bloodthirsty enough.
You don't think she's bloodthirsty enough?
No, I don't see Kristen Wiig as being a conniving, villainous, dastardly woman. I don't see that in her.
I haven't seen any roles that she's done yet to see that.
Like for me, if you wanted the same kind of style, same look for Cheetah, but with a better actress, Vera Farmiga.
Ooh, yeah, I can agree with that.
Because the way she portrays Norma Bates on Bates Motel,
yeah,
that's the kind of thinking you need for a woman like Cheetah. And then you just basically give Norma Bates from Bates Motel claws, and that's Cheetah to me.
Yeah, I can see that. I haven't that one I can picture more than Kristen Wiig, but Yeah, I mean, I know Kristen Wiig has the acting chops that she can pull off pretty much any role that
Mm-hmm.
she wanted to. I just haven't seen that performance from her yet to know whether. I mean, I can't remember the name of the movie that she did a couple years ago, where she played a person with a mental imbalance, I guess you would say. She's like a game show that she plays off in her head or something, or a talk show. I don't know what it is. It was an interesting movie. That was one of the best performances I've seen from her.
Mm-hmm.
And then also just the role that she played of a this kind of it was a selfish role that she played in Downsizing. It wasn't complete like it wasn't like that she was a terrible person, but she just had to make a selfish decision for herself.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of sucked for her. You became kind of like a sucky person in that movie, but it wasn't a villain role.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think she can pull it off, and I'm skeptical at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not super excited about it just because, like I said, I haven't seen it yet,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't
I
know.
haven't seen her in the makeup or
Yeah,
anything. What direction they're going to take the Cheetah character? So for me, just on name alone, I can't see it.
yeah. On the concept and who the actress is, the picture, the performance I'm picturing is kind of like Elizabeth Banks in Power Rangers.
Oh,
What was the
Rita Repulsa.
Rita Repulsa character in Power Rangers? It's kind of campy a little bit and over the top, but I'm hoping that's not quite what it is. Even though
No.
I liked Elizabeth Banks' performance a little bit in that movie, it still felt like a little out of place. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that that's not how I feel about Kristen Wiig. I hope it fits well within the Wonder Woman universe and the DC universe. I hope it just works with that.
I hope. Yeah, that's
Because
hope
I
so.
mean, there is and I feel like there's an imbalance in the DC universe as far as tone
Oh
goes.
yeah,
They haven't quite found their tone
they
at all.
haven't balanced it out yet.
So whatever it is, because Wonder Woman, there was a little bit of over the top acting in Wonder Woman. If you count the Doctor, what's her, Doctor, the Poison.
Yeah, right, Doctor Poison.
Doctor Poison. Yeah,
Yeah,
her performance was a little over the top.
yeah, she was
So
a little campy, but
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'll hold off my complete judgment until the movie, until I see a trailer, I guess.
yeah.
But now we're going to go ahead and move on to our next story, and that is we have some just information about the Joker movie
Mm-hmm.
that may or may not star Joaquin Phoenix. That hasn't been completely confirmed yet. So, according to The Wrap, Todd Phillips' planned Joker origin movie will portray Batman's arch nemesis as a failed 1980s comedian who becomes the clown prince of crime after bombing with audiences. So I know you and I both have a little bit of an opinion. I mean, that's the point of the show.
Mm-hmm.
We have an opinion on this.
Yes. But if we didn't have one, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I think we both agree that taking this stuff from the Killing Joke has become
So pointless.
played out.
It's played out. Yeah.
Yes, it's become played out, especially after seeing the Killing Joke animated movie, which was terrible.
Oh yeah. The
first half was terrible.
The first half was terrible because that was all original.
Yeah.
When they actually started to go, okay, now let's get to the Killing Joke, it was actually good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
But that first half made it just, why did you do this?
Right.
Did we need to know this about the Batgirl Batman relationship?
Yeah.
Did we need to know that? The answer was no.
But the also part, just a side note from the actual Killing Joke animated movie, they did pull back a little bit from the comic book. They toned it down just a little bit from the comic book, even though they were given the full R rating. They did pull back quite a bit for the comic or for the animated movie from the Killing Joke, which I thought they were just going to go full ham, and they didn't. But anyways, back to this though. Do you think that they're gonna? Do you think that this is going to be Killing Joke, or do you think they're just going to take that one story element and actually?
They're gonna do what a lot of them do: just take that story element and then do their own thing with it.
I hope if that's what they do, then I'm fine with that because I mean I think that would be an interesting concept. It'd be a little bit mix of the King of Comedy from Scorsese and Taxi Driver is what I'm picturing in my head.
I can kind of see that. I can maybe see that.
Yeah. So I'm kind of I'm hoping that it has that 80s feel to it. That really nice.
Yeah, because Joaquin is a good pick for a Joker character because he's known to play off the wall characters before.
Oh
so
yeah.
I could kind of see him as the Joker.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I was excited when I heard that Joaquin Phoenix was kind of the pick right now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that he's the official pick.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's, because I know that there were negotiations. I don't know if that's been completed, but I know that since the negotiations have been continuing, and he still seems to be in the ring right now, I'm hoping he's the pick.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if that's I don't want this to be another a live action Killing Joke. I don't want that to be because we've already seen it too many times now.
Yeah, we've seen elements or straight up retellings so many times. It's
Yes, and
time for a new storyline. There's
yeah.
so many other Batman stories you can use.
And we've seen the Arkham Joker
Mm-hmm.
being played out right, sort of in this DCU a little bit of it, some of the Arkham elements from it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping this is kind of a throwback Joker mixed with an original idea.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm hoping to get out of this.
So yeah, in the comment section below, if you feel like we do about either the Wonder Woman story or this Joker story here, let us know in the comments below. If
Yes.
you disagree with us, let us know in the comments below. But just play nice.
Right. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I agree with you though. I don't want to see another Killing Joke.
Mm-mm.
But I do think if that's the element that they're going to borrow from the Killing Joke story, I'm fine with that part.
If that's the only part they borrow.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling they won't.
What?
Because the Killing Joke is so iconic.
Right.
How can you not resist to film all of it? You know what I'm saying? So I have a feeling they're gonna do that.
Well, technically, this couldn't be a Killing Joke, but the origin that they told in the Killing Joke,
Mm-hmm.
I may or may not mind seeing an extension from that.
Yeah, our Horror Champs cohort and technical producer Zakary Cheatham says, "I just want to see a Joker."
He just wants to see a Joker. Yeah, just wants to see a Joker movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot to let him know that we were going to be talking about the Joker. If y'all don't know, that's Zach's favorite villain ever is the Joker. So
accidentally brought a Tokyo Ghoul T-shirt thinking he was buying a Joker shirt.
Yeah. But anyways, I think we've covered that enough.
Mm-hmm.
We have our opinion cleared on that. So that's it for our news stories for this episode. We're going to go ahead and move now to some trailer stories or trailer information. The trailer for the Illumination animation Grinch movie. It's called The Grinch.
Yeah.
Not How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This one's just
but
called The
technically,
Grinch.
that's what the Jim Carrey one was called.
Right.
Just The Grinch.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So let's see here.
Keep
Anything? Oh, here we go. The Grinch hatches a scheme to ruin Christmas when the residents of Whoville plan their annual Christmas holiday celebration. That's the word they used. Let's go ahead. We don't know too much. It sounds like that's all the information they're going to give us because this is going to be just another
retelling of
how the Grinch Stole Christmas.
You know, there was another Grinch story that was out there that would be pretty interesting to see redone today.
What's that?
Grinch Night.
I hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah, it was a Grinch Night. It was like a story about how the Grinch come down with a special wagon. You don't want to be caught in the wagon. Because trippy things go down in the wagon.
Is it a kids movie?
It's a kids movie.
Okay.
But it's more of a darker Dr. Seuss story. Darker as Seuss could get because it's Dr.
Right,
Seuss.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, but it was more like they treated the Grinch like a legit problem more so than just he's just the butthole that lives on the hill.
Yeah. This trailer, I didn't get much out of this trailer. There was a couple parts that I had a small chuckle out of, but as far as this trailer didn't do anything for me and make me excited or anything.
The trailer lost me when they started playing "Happy" from the alarm clock. I said, so we're back to this now.
They're still cashing in on that Pharrell song.
Man, that Pharrell song. I understand. Hey, Pharrell, I'm not knocking you to get your money, but I'm just saying they running that song into the ground.
Yeah.
Ever since you made that song for Despicable Me 2, it's just boop 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 and all that stuff. And it's like okay, and then I don't like the way they redesigned Max.
Really?
Yeah.
They changed. I'm curious though. Zach pointed this out. They said, so the Grinch's pants in in that trailer Is there anything underneath? Is he? I don't know. It's weird that he's putting on the pants, but that has always been something I assumed was his
legs.
What's
So what up with that?
What's up with that now?
So do we have to worry about
what is
the
the
Grinch having a Grinch?
Yeah. What's going on down there then?
Yeah,
I don't know.
What is
why is this Grinch movie making me question that?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing coming out of the Grinch trailer is, does he have privates?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just curious. I'm just curious if it's skin or if he's still green down there and he's just putting on more green. I don't know.
I don't know.
And I don't think I should ask anymore.
No.
Maybe it's just for it's still the same thing, but just for decency reasons he has to wear the pants.
Maybe
if he has to go out in public, he has to wear the pants. Because whatever else would be there would be indecent.
We're thinking too much about
Yes,
this.
there's just too much. I don't know.
Man,
I don't even know if I'm going to watch this movie
now. No, because we're thinking too hard about it.
Yeah.
Hey, Christopher Robin, come save us,
Yeah, let's
please.
go ahead and talk about this Christopher Robin trailer.
Yes, please do.
All right, so
something adorable.
Christopher Robin, the little boy from the Winnie the Pooh stories, is now all grown up and has lost all sense of imagination. Pooh and his friends from the 100-Acre Wood re-enter Christopher's life to help him find it again. All right, this one I'm very excited about.
Me too.
Yes, this one. I don't remember who the director is, but he's a really good director.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to look that up now because it's going to bug me. Because I know he's made a lot of very good movies, and I think he's even been nominated for an Oscar before. So this is coming from a very capable director, not somebody that this is their first go around with a movie like this. But this trailer, the tone in the trailer was really cool, and just from the way that they made Pooh look, it really wants me wish that, and it's gonna
Mark Forster.
Okay, what has he directed?
He's directed Monsters Ball,
Finding Neverland. That was the one I liked.
Stranger Than Fiction, The Kite Runner, Quantum of Solace, and World War Z.
Those are all pretty solid. Besides World War Z, there's parts I liked. I don't know. I liked World War Z. I didn't hate it. I just thought it could have been better.
I just wish we followed the comic book.
Yeah.
No, the book. It wasn't the comic book. It was the book.
Yeah. So, but everything else. Yes. California's calling. All right. So.
Yeah, that's our big break.
That's our big break. Hey guys, we see you streaming in 1080p.
Yeah. You must have got your bars up.
But anyways, this trailer has got me excited for it. But what the point I was getting at is that we're probably not going to see a lot of the 100-Acre Wood. But if it's as cool as I'm imagining it's going to look, it's going to make me wish that we were staying in there a little more.
Mm-hmm.
So if we do get to see the 100-Acre Wood, I'm hoping it's really gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably going to feel like I wish we were seeing more of it.
Yes.
But I mean, I'm cool with seeing more of these characters portrayed the way that
being reused in different ways.
Yes, and it's cool that they're using the original.
It was the original voice actor.
Yeah, at least for Pooh anyway. I don't know about the rest of the characters, but yeah, this is.
And Jonathan Drew says, "Yo,
what's up, Jonathan?" But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing more of this movie. Oh, my Frozen! Come on. So.
Did we freeze?
Let's see if we can change scene real quick. We're gonna still be frozen. 1 second.
1 second.
Okay, we're back again.
It just
so I don't know. That one was OBS that time, not even the internet.
Nope. OBS decided, hey, we like this shot. We're gonna keep it.
Yeah. But anyways, I am. This is one of my most anticipated movies right now that I can think of. Besides, I mean, obviously, the Infinity War and stuff like that. But as far as movies that aren't in the Marvel universe, this is one of my most anticipated ones right now. So
right here.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead, and that's the last of our trailer reviews.
Mm-hmm.
We are now going to move on to our
Actual
movie
full movies.
Yes, reviewing movies.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was the one I saw. I don't think you didn't see this
I
one.
haven't seen it yet, no, but I
Okay,
want to.
so this is Red Sparrow.
No, not Red. I'm thinking of the one further down the list, but
Oh
we'll
yeah,
get to
yeah.
that.
So this is Red Sparrow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So prima ballerina Dominika Igorova faces a bleak and uncertain future after she suffers an injury that ends her career. She soon turns to Sparrow School, a secret intelligence service that trains exceptional young people to use their minds and bodies as weapons. Igorova emerges as the most dangerous Sparrow after completing the sadistic training process. As she comes to terms with her new abilities, Dominica meets a CIA agent who tries to convince her that he is the only person she can trust. So it's going to be hard for me to review this one a little bit because it's been a little while since I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try to go based off of what I can remember of it, which I like this movie. It's definitely well directed and very well acted. Um, my main issue with this movie was there's a this movie is dark and it goes places that you probably would never expect a movie to go. That you have nothing. It's pretty sadistic and the gore is actually it's brutal. The violence is very brutal. There's not a lot of it, but the violence that is there is brutal, but not bloody. So it's not. It's just things that happen to these characters. That the violence is really brutal and hard to watch. But if you're scared of gore, that's not. It's not that. It's not there. So which is good, I guess, because that would have just made this way harder to watch than it was. But there's a lot of shocking things that, especially with Jennifer Lawrence's character, that this is one of probably her most challenging roles. I'd have to imagine this is one of the most challenging roles she's ever done. But that being said, there's not a lot of payoff. For it's a lot of shock, but with no substance. So there's not a lot of reason for why it goes as dark as it does in this movie, which is kind of underwhelming. Because then you're just watching a lot of stuff with for this stuff that's going to maybe shocking to a lot of people for no reason, which I found pretty upsetting. But this, like I said, it's beautifully shot, well acted, well directed. The pacing wasn't too bad. I've heard a couple people that had complaints about the pacing being pretty slow, but I thought it was pretty well paced. I never felt disengaged or anything in this movie, and I thought it had a pretty good some pretty good twists in it. Some people thought their opinions of the movie. They said that they never really were able to tell which side Jennifer Lawrence was on, whether she was on what's the actor's name?
Joel Edgerton.
Joel Edgerton's character, whether she was on his side or if she was on the side of the Russian government. I never really felt that way. I felt like there were some nice twists to it, but I always felt like I knew where she was. I never, but maybe it's because I had heard that ahead of time, so I knew to pay more attention to it, and that's why I kind of knew where she was, seemed to know where she was going most of the time, and I felt like they left enough hints and clues to give you that information.
Okay.
But with that being said, I probably would watch this movie again. I think this movie deserves a second watch. But definitely there's those story elements, like I said, with not a lot of payoff. I think it's just because of the length of this movie. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I don't think it should have been longer, but I think the story needed it to be longer. And I think with that being said, I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10.
Okay, 7.
So that's a C minus.
Okay, I got a question about this movie.
What's up?
You don't think this is another one of those studio movies where they felt like, well, we need to have one of those sex and violent thrillers for the year?
I think if this was not in that movie, it probably wouldn't have sold very well.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't think that
But
any
you know what I
studio,
mean.
I don't think any studio would have wanted them to go as dark as the movie did. So I think those
But you know
elements
what
were
I
all
mean
there.
by one
Yeah,
of those sex and violent thrillers where it's like the whole shock in it is like how far we're going in both of these extremes,
right.
like a History of Violence or Eastern Promises kind of movie.
Exactly. Yes. But those movies executed that so much better than
That's
this
what
one.
I'm saying. That's
But
what
yeah.
I'm saying. That's what was that what you feel they were going for with this?
I think so. I think that's what they were going for. I think that was one of the big selling points for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
How this movie got its funding. They said we can get Jennifer Lawrence in this movie, and but there's just like I said, there's no substance in it. But I mean, like I said, the movie was executed pretty well. Besides that, I
Mm-hmm.
think it was interesting. Those were interesting and things that were probably important for this story.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it just did not ultimately pay off.
Okay.
There was there there was just some parts that were in there that moved the story along. That would have been like when she's in the Sparrow School. That lasts a total of maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and that could have gone for easily 30 to 45 minutes. So it just felt rushed at that point. Um, because I mean, but I don't know. There was a lot of natural abilities that she had that helped her get along through that school, and then there was also just it was more of the natural abilities that I think were important in her character that helped her become this very one of the top sparrows, I guess you would say,
Mm-hmm.
from that school because she didn't complete it. She never. That's not a spoiler or anything, but she didn't complete Sparrow School. She got pretty much kicked out, but they said you can go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and make this girl a sparrow. She's got some natural abilities. But
So you didn't graduate, but you're still a sparrow. What?
well, yeah, well, she couldn't. She just had some natural ability. Or it was a bit of nepotism there, because her uncle was the one that got her in there. But yeah,
I get it.
So yeah, so like I said, 7 out of 10. It's a C minus. I'm gonna probably watch it again just to see if there's some parts that I may have missed in there, and I'll adjust my score accordingly if I need to.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, yeah, it's a pretty much a C minus. There was some minor some disappointments that were major in the story that I think would have benefited from an extra 20 to 30 minutes of story development.
All right.
Especially the romance. That one. They have good chemistry together,
Mm-hmm.
but naturally that was very rushed.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
Like,
two good-looking people though falling in love with each other isn't something that's so completely uncommon from these
in a
types of
spy
movies.
setting,
In a spy setting,
when they're both on opposite sides of the line.
Yeah,
That's like plot X.
Yeah, but she's just I don't know. She was an emotionally intelligent character, which I think is what benefited her so well. Where she felt like she can trust these people because I guess she just knows people's emotions and abilities a little better than
Apparently,
most.
from the plot synopsis, she can actually see emotions as color.
Yeah. The way they use color to tell the story was an interesting cinematic
Mm-hmm.
way. I guess from a cinematic view, the way that they use color in this movie was pretty neat.
Okay.
To tell the story, which I thought was smart. There's a lot. This was like I said, very well directed. I just think there's just some things that, from a production standpoint, that would have complicated making the story a little better, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But they are just things that were just naturally needed to be there for me to have enjoyed this movie a little better.
Okay.
So, guys, have you seen Red Sparrow? What did you think of it? Do you agree with my opinion? Do you have your own? I mean, I do want to hear your opinion anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you agree with me or not, I want to hear your opinion of Red Sparrow.
Mm-hmm.
And if you took it a little differently, I want to know what your thoughts are. So let me know in the comments or anywhere else that you can reach me at. So we're going to head and move on to the next story, or next movie. And this is one that you watched.
I did.
I did not see this movie, and this one's the Hurricane Heist. Yeah, Hurricane Heist.
And you need to take a grenade the next time. The rural town of New Hope, Alabama, has a pair of supersized problems heading its way. There's a hurricane bearing down on the Gulf coastline, and there's a team of 30 well-armed mercenaries intent on looting the local treasury facility. I'm gonna stop you right there. 30?
30.
I did not count 30 people on that team that whole movie.
Really?
No. Where did you? What 30?
I got
like 6.
This is IMDb's summary of the movie.
Yeah, there was what 24 people died on the way. What happened? Because they broke in. It was dumb. Because okay, as you can clearly tell, this movie sucked. Because when they broke it, because the way the movie is set up, is Maggie Grace's character. I don't remember character names because they're not memorable. And Maggie Grace's character. Then there's this her partner who this Irish dude who she didn't think was actually Irish this whole time. So then he's like the mastermind of the whole situation. And the way they just do the break in is that all of them have all these dart guns they use, so to make sure they get everyone unconscious and not have any blood spilled on the scene. So she escapes. She escapes because not exactly she escapes. It's more so, oh, the generator downstairs is broken and we need the backup power for because of the hurricane. You go get this one dude who knows how to work the generator in the town, repair the generator in the town, bring him here. So she goes to go do that. So then he just so happens to be the main meteorologist's brother, who earlier in the movie, and this is about when I texted you and said I can't wait to talk about this movie when we do the show. They're in a tow truck with their dad driving down the road when a hurricane is barreling down on them. So it gets bad, the tow truck crashes, and they go run into this one house to try to ride out the storm. So he takes the boys and says, "You wait here. I'm gonna go get the truck unstuck." So he goes outside. Blase blah. Truck doesn't get unstuck. He tries to run back to the house. Gets killed by a water tower. And then the house gets flipped over and turned upside down with the kids inside of it. And then right before the hurricane dissipates, you literally see a screaming skull in the clouds before they show the Hurricane Heist title.
All right, so that was a lot there.
Oh yeah.
My question is, these movies, the way that the theater audiences have been working nowadays, they are demanding quality movies be made nowadays. It's not like it was in the
90s,
early
late 80s, early 90s.
Yes, where technical advancements were something we had never seen, and we'd go watch garbage
just because
to see it.
The special effects.
Yes, and it's been proving lately with the Independence Day resurgence, Geostorm, movies like this, that people don't want to see these crappy movies being made. Sharknado. Nobody's actually would ever go see Sharknado in a theater.
No.
But those movies are a spectacle because of how terrible they are and self-aware they are of how terrible they are.
Yeah, they know they suck, but they instead of like trying to present themselves as something more than they are,
yes.
They're like, we know what this is.
Yeah.
We're working on number 6 right now.
Yes.
If you're complaining that these movies are bad, why are you here?
Yes.
You know what you're getting into at this point.
But I mean, there's movies like I forget. There was like a storm movie that came out not too long ago. That was actually pretty good. It was I don't know. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't Geostorm, but it was one that came out like 2 or 3 years ago. That was like this Twister movie. That was actually pretty good, but that one wasn't trying to be over the top. Called a freaking Hurricane Heist movie.
I will admit that their plan is genius as far as the heist side goes.
Really?
Because he said, because the way it works is the reason why they're breaking into this one specific treasury, because they're breaking and stealing money that's going to be destroyed. So
okay.
it's like, and the way they set it up before the hurricane even came, the shredder, they somehow made it so the shredder broke.
Mm-hmm.
So it just stockpiled money inside this treasury. So they were going to use the hurricane to get in and get out.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even tell you the best. I didn't even tell you this.
Okay.
So she goes and gets him. Shootout ensues. So then they capture him. They make him go down to the generator to fix the generator. Okay, so then now she has to go find his brother now this meteorologist and this U.S. Treasury agent are working together to break back into the Treasury or either get them. It's very confusing and it's very dumb, and it all leads up to a point where, like at the end of the movie, near the end, they're driving in the eye of the hurricane in 3 18-wheelers. Mind you, they say that the eye of the hurricane is the most beautiful thing because since there's no storm in the eye, you can just see the storm. It's like the sun comes out and you can see everything. And they say this eye is 40 miles wide, right?
Yeah.
So why in certain shots do you see the side of walls of the hurricane, and in other shots it's like emptiness?
Yeah.
Along the same side you just showed the hurricane barreling down on them.
I felt like this movie thought that it was going to be able to milk the popularity of the Fast and the Furious movies with the over-the-top heist element.
Yeah, with the heist element, but here's the thing about it though. None of it was really over the top.
Really?
And the most over-the-top thing they did in this whole movie, there was a scene where they were in a mall, and he said they were going to use the barometric pressure of the hurricane as a weapon.
Oh, I think I saw parts of that in the trailer.
Where he blow the roof off, they blow a hole in the glass ceiling of the mall, and basically suck everyone out. Now here's the part that's dumb about this part. The brother doesn't know his brother doesn't know this is going to happen. The other two do, and are harnessed up so they don't get sucked out.
Right.
Okay, you got, and oh yeah, there's also one more plot line I got to tell you about. The sheriff is in on it.
Right.
So later in the movie, when the cops come to the mall to try to barter the deal they agreed to over the radio, they shoot the glass ceiling out, and we're frozen in again.
Oh Jesus, come on, dude! I'm trying not to tell all the story. All right, go.
No one's going to see this. It only made $3 million the opening weekend.
Yeah.
No one's seeing this movie. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So then he shoots the roof out of the mall, and they get sucked in. Everybody else gets sucked into the ceiling, but not his brother. His brother just has just enough grip strength to survive and run back outside to the car.
Jeez. So yeah, I think maybe what was missing, a key element that was missing to this movie, why audience didn't go see this and it's not being well received, is it doesn't have Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, I would think because Dwayne Johnson brings budget.
Yeah, I don't hate. I mean, Dwayne Johnson's movies are really over the top, but there's some enjoyment and entertainment in there.
He's kind of
his just him.
Just him being him
sells those movies.
Like Skyscraper.
Yeah.
Anybody else, that movie looks dumb.
Yeah.
But because Dwayne Johnson's in it, it's like, I might check that out.
Yeah. Exactly.
But let me finish this movie. So that like the end of the movie, they're in the eye of the hurricane. They're driving down the road. Okay, they topple one of the 18-wheelers, so there's only 400 million left. They get to the next car, 18-wheeler. They shoot one dude in the arm. His girlfriend freaks out about it. They and all this and all like that. And then they get to the last car. They somehow the 18-wheeler gets ripped off the back and he gets crushed by it, so he's dead. Okay. So then they try to like do a daisy chain where they break everybody from the one 18-wheeler that broke down. Now all of a sudden get to the other 18-wheeler. So the brother gets off. So they're trying to get the other two thieves off the other 18-wheeler.
Right. And
then they get sucked into the hurricane. And the reason why this movie was so aggravatingly dumb to me, because right after they get sucked into the hurricane, guess what?
What's up?
The skull comes back again.
Oh, God.
It's almost like this dude is being haunted by hurricanes.
All right.
And the only way it's satisfied is if he sees people, if the hurricane sees people, if the hurricane knows he's watched people die to it.
Wow.
Yeah, like as soon as they die and the skull comes out, the hurricane goes away. This massive Category 7 hurricane goes away after 3 people die in it. Not all the cops, not everybody else, because he was too busy. No, but once he physically lays eyes on 3 deaths in this hurricane, movie over. And I do mean movie over. Like, as soon as they get sucked into the hurricane and they all die, they driving down the road. She makes a joke about maybe stealing the money and going to Mexico. And then, zoom, the hurricane heist. The dumbest movie I've seen this year. Very very, very dumb. 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10. Oh my god.
One.
That's
There was nothing redeemable about this movie at all.
Yeah.
Toby Kebbell needs a better agent.
Yeah, I was gonna say Toby Kebbell and Maggie Grace are great actors.
Yeah, but Toby Kebbell's accent was annoying.
Oh really?
He was trying to have like that thick Southern Alabama accent.
Oh, gotcha.
And
all right.
there was one moment that really made me angry. It was a simple scene. It was like all this is going on, and they're just sitting around talking about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Oh,
yeah, they're just sitting around eating peanut butter and jelly, talking about how they like Skippy and Smuckers.
Gotcha.
There's $600 million at stake, and you talking about peanut butter right now.
All right, so 1 out of 10, guys. Have you guys? I doubt you guys have seen it. Have you guys seen Hurricane Heist? Does it look interesting to you? Do you agree with his 1 out of 10 score? Or do you let us know what you think.
Hurricane Heist is the kind of movie you put on when you're with someone and you decide that this is gonna be a Netflix and chill night. That's literally a background noise movie.
All right.
Yeah, that's all the Hurricane Heist is good for. Background noise.
I'll have to get you in the mood like a good hurricane, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, that song does not appear once in the movie. Rock You Like a Hurricane.
Really?
Nope, not
well,
once.
That's the biggest sin right there.
Yeah, you tease that.
All right.
Don't go see the Hurricane Heist, people. I regret going. Yeah, this man needs to really take a grenade the next time. I've sat through Flatliners. I've sat through Boo Medea. I've sat through. What else did I sit through?
Did you watch? You didn't watch the kung fu one, the dragon thing.
Breath of the Dragon.
Well, hey, I did sit through Daddy's Home too.
You did. Okay, that's one.
I took one grenade.
So you took one grenade to my what? 4?
Yes.
You got 3 more to go.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our last movie review. And that is A Wrinkle in Time planet, and use the concept known as a tesseract to travel there. Joined by Meg's classmate Calvin O'Keefe, and guided by the 3 mysterious astral travelers known as Mrs. What's-It, Mrs. Who, and Mrs. Witch, the children brave a dangerous journey to a planet that possesses all of the evil in the universe. And I actually like this movie. I thought, for the most part, it was well acted. The child actor, I don't know what his name is, but he played Charles Wallace, who was her little brother in the movie. I think they relied a little bit too much on him. I mean, if he was just playing for what he did in the first and second act, it was forgivable. It was fine. There wasn't too much, but he has an arc that is really important to the story that I don't think he was able to live up to, I guess you would say.
You're not the first person I've heard say that.
Really? But yeah, he was. But for the most part, this movie was gorgeous. The effects weren't too in your face. They weren't too bad. There was a lot of CGI used in the movie, but it wasn't like so totally noticeable. I think for the most part it was really, really nice. And what's his name? Chris Pine, and I'm gonna totally butcher the actress's name that played the mom in the movie. Gugu something.
Gugu Mbatu Raw.
Yeah. She was
really
good.
I might have butchered it too, but
you did it better than I was about to say.
Yeah.
So she was really good. She's always really good in the. She's been in a couple. She's in a lot of movies lately.
Yeah. Yes.
She's in a lot of Netflix movies, but they're okay. I mean, like it was like the forget it. It was the Cloverfield movie, and she's in one supposed to be a really sad movie that just came out recently. But yeah, the movies that she's in, she's very good, and she was really good in this movie. There was Mindy Kaling, Zach Galifianakis, and Reese Witherspoon, and all those characters that they play in this Oprah. These characters that they all play in this universe are somewhat interesting. You don't really get to know too much of their character traits, or you learn a little bit more about Reese Witherspoon, but as far as the importance of Oprah's character. I have no idea why she's so important to everybody in there. She plays like a godlike character in this universe, but you don't really know too much about them or what their purpose is,
Mm-hmm.
besides somewhat guiding the story along. I mean, I never read the book, so I don't know if that's expressed in the book at all. But they, like I said, I don't know too much about how Chris Pine ended up here, besides the fact that it's kind of like an experiment gone wrong. But that's never shown in the story, and you don't know how he ends up in the place where he ends up in this story.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he went through a journey, but you don't know exactly how he gets to where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some parts that are missing in here that make this a more full story. I don't know if it's just because they weren't cinematic or if it was just something with the budget that kept them from filming stuff like that. Because this was a very expensive movie. I think it was like $200 million.
Yeah, no, Disney spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
Between this, Black Panther, the upcoming Infinity War, Ant-Man,
Yeah.
Robin, Nutcracker.
But
They can afford it because all those movies, most of those movies make their money back. So,
but this doesn't make me like underwhelmed to see another Ava DuVernay movie. I think she did the best she possibly could with this movie. But there's just like I said, just some of the acting and some of the story elements that just weren't completely there to make this as remarkable as it probably could have been. I mean, the stuff that they did with this movie is impressive, and I don't know how well it's doing in the box office right now.
well, they made 33.
Is it number 2 in the box office?
It was number 2 again, but Black Panther was number 1 for obvious reasons.
Well, look where we are in the industry. Then we're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this movie was not as bad as a lot of the critics are panning it, I guess, to be right now.
I think maybe a lot of the ones that are being harsher on it may have read the book.
Probably.
So if you read the book of something and then it doesn't live up to those really live up to that, I can understand being harsher on it because that's the goal of the movie.
Yeah.
To try to be a representation of this book. And if it fails to do that, it's a failure as a movie.
Yeah. But Storm Reed, she has she plays the Meg character. She was very good in this movie. There's some parts where you know that they're all on like a green screen sound stage that I don't think that they completely gave her the full effect of or understanding of what her character should be doing at parts.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't completely blame her for because that's just the problem with filming on a green screen, blue screen soundstage, is that you don't know completely what you're supposed to be looking at, or like there's some parts where she's like she's more expressive or more surprised at certain parts than she is. Like the first time she sees Oprah, Oprah's like 30 feet tall probably, and she's there's nothing shocking like expressed in her emotions that she's like expressing any sort of shock or anything like
that. She doesn't have a sense of wonder to it.
Yeah.
Like, this is a 30-foot tall woman.
Yeah.
She just like,
yeah, and then
you gonna help me or not?
but then in the third act, that was the part that I felt like I said, okay, this part seems like it's more for kids than it is for adults, because she has to ultimately. This isn't a spoiler or anything. I'm not about to spoil it. But ultimately, she has to understand some of her character traits that are her flaws. She has to accept some of her flaws in order to get to this thing at the end of the movie. This I don't know if you call it a disaster, but whatever it is, this problem that she has to solve at the end of the movie. It's ultimately supposed to be solved by her accepting some of her flaws, but the flaws that she expresses out loud verbally are stuff that we never saw in the movie. Like she says, "I'm messy. I'm a delinquent," or stuff like that. Those are some of these flaws. It's like, well, how come we never saw any of these flaws in the movie? How come she's not pointing out some of the flaws we did get to see in the movie? I was like, this seems like it's more for kids than it is because like the kids, like, oh, we're messy. We have problems in school. We're bullies or something like that. But this isn't the stuff that we ever saw from this character.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we talk about this character's flaws? Why are we talking about this stuff that's more universal than what's actually going on with this character? So that was a problem. It's like, oh, that seemed kind of childish. I said, wasn't this something that?
She basically said like what you would say to, like when you were a kid is you want your kid to get your parents to get you that next video game.
Yeah.
I remember to brush my teeth, clean my room, wash my hair, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. This is.
I saved the world with chores.
It just seemed like this was more surface level than it was actually the her
Like
actually
exposing
experience.
yourself to
Yes.
what's really wrong with you.
Yes, that's why I said, well, I said that was kind of stupid.
It was kind of like
So yeah, that was something I thought felt was a huge problem at the end of this movie. But for the most part, like I said, it was an enjoyable movie. But it's just if it's not, it didn't live up to I guess a potential that it could have had it not been kind of over watered down. I think is what it is. I think this could have been a dark movie. Not like just a little darker in tone, but it just felt a little bit watered down, and just to make it more, I guess, digestible for children audiences. Which I mean is understandable at one for a little bit, or at one, I guess, if you look at it from one perspective. But for this to be an actual great movie, it needed those things to it. So for that, I'm gonna give this one I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay, a little lower than the Red Sparrow, but
Yeah, well,
but it sounded like it had more promise to you than Red Sparrow.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
yeah. So
But when the quirks in the movie is kind of weak, it kind of does hamper the whole experience.
yeah, it just didn't have that full punch that I think this movie could have had. And I don't think it had to be completely cinematic, or I mean, it didn't have to be like a huge budget to fix those problems. I just think that those were just problems and elements that could have been done,
Differently.
but in the writing, or and yeah,
The budget wouldn't have helped the writing that needed fixing.
yeah. So if you had, I don't think you had to completely recast the Charles Wallace character with a better, maybe a better actor probably could have done it. I think Jacob, no, not his name. I forget his name now, but he was in Wonder. I think he would have been a better child actor to play that Charles Wallace character because they seemingly are close to the same age. I think might be a little older, but I think he would have been more fit for that role than this kid needed to be at that point in that movie.
Okay.
Like I said, he would have been forgivable had he not been given such an important part at the end of this movie. So, but yeah, 6.5 out of 10. I'll probably watch it again. I don't think it's like I said, it's a salvageable movie. You just have to give up some of your predisposed ideas of how movies should go. I guess I don't know. But anyways, do you guys agree with me? Did you guys check out A Wrinkle in Time this week? Let me know what you guys thought, and if you agree with my opinion on it. If you don't, I want to hear it. If you do, I want to hear it. So leave them down in the comments. Anyways, guys, that was this episode of the Movie Champ Show, episode 23. So, like I said, we're going to do episode 24 this weekend, so be on the look for that. We'll let you know when we're doing that one. And we just got a lot of fun things coming, so keep an eye on this channel. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave some comments, so that way we know what you guys want to see and what you guys liked and don't like, and just things like that. Just like I said, stay civil. Anyways, I am the host, Walker Cheatham. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and pretty much everywhere. Just type in Walker Cheatham. I'm one of the only ones out there. And you are?
I'm EJ Flemming. You can pretty much find me everywhere at Geek Champs EJ, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook. You can also find me on my email, moviechampsej or geekchampsej@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Either one.
Yeah, you can email me at moviechampswalker@gmail.com. That's where we really like these emails for us, obviously, to keep in touch with you guys, but also for you guys to send in topics and things that you want to see on our next episodes of these shows. So guys, try to contact us. We just want to know what you guys want to see.
Here.
We want to make the show the best we can.
You can find us right here.
All right, guys. But anyways, you guys have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching our show.